15, when I encountered a mother and a son, and this son was at the age of breastfeeding. You know, the age of babies who are still breastfeeding. But at this moment, the mother was wishing that the son could know that there is more other foods other than the breast milk. And this mother was wishing to introduce the son to other foods different from the breast milk that the son was used to. But it was difficult because the son loved breast milk so much. It was very difficult to divert the son from the breast milk to other foods. And so the mother decided that she must look for a way, she must look for means to make this son to leave the breast milk completely and start eating other foods. And now, one day, the mother went and looked for pepper, pili pili, and she applied at her breast. And now, when the baby came running and asking for the breast milk, the mother just gave him, and she waited so that the baby could find that the breast milk is not tasting as usual, and she wished, or she hoped, that after the baby could find that the breast milk is, let me say, is rather not sweet as usual, he could stop and never wish to take it again. But alas, when the baby tasted the breast, the mother saw that there was some changes in the facial expression, but the son continued. He did not withdraw from the breast. He continued sucking the breast, but a minute later, the son was heard crying. The son had tasted the bitter, or the son had tasted another taste different from the sweet taste that he was used to. And he cried bitterly because this time round, this breast milk was not sweet. And the mother was like, wow, this is what I wanted. This son now could not, he will not wish to taste this breast milk again. This is exactly what I wanted. But the next moment, the son captured the breast, like as if he has started a new beginning, and sucked the breast now even more violently. And as he continued, the mother was, I don't know whether she was surprised, she was amazed, she was amused. I don't know how I can describe the sensation at that moment, but the mother was surprised to see the son swallowing, let me say, large amounts of milk and enjoying as normal, because the bitterness was no more. He had sucked the bitterness away, and he was now continuing to suck the sweet breast milk. And if you ask the baby at that moment how the sucking experience was that minute, I'm sure the baby will tell you that the sucking experience was bitter sweet. That is the topic of our today's sharing, bitter sweet. I'll invite you to come with me to the book of Exodus, chapter 15, and we are starting from verse 22. And I appreciate that Divine Harvesters is presenting exactly at the right time. And we are reading that Moses brought the Israelites from the Red Sea, and they went into the wilderness, and they went 3 days and found no water. Friends, I like to tell you that this moment we are talking about is just after the Israelites have crossed the Red Sea, and that is the moment they had witnessed the Pharaoh and his army drowning into the Red Sea. And at that same moment, it is that moment that Miriam had finished leading them, singing a song of praise. They had sung a song of praise, praising God for the wonderful deed that he had done. Imagine seeing your enemies, witnessing your enemy drowning as you crossed the sea. The Israelites were very happy, and they sang a song of praise. If you would approach the Israelites that moment and ask them, how is the experience when you are being led by God? The Israelites could tell you the experience is sweet. But no, A moment later, they have traveled 3 days without water. Friends, you know how it feels when you feel or when you miss to take even a drop of water. You know how it feels when you are thirsty. Can you imagine 3 days without water and you are not seated, you are not sleeping, you are traveling not by car, not by aeroplane, not by any means, but by foot? I'm sure you are creating the picture. If now you approach the same Israelites who were singing a song of praise moments ago and ask them, hello, brothers and sisters, how is the experience of walking with God? They will tell you, oh, the experience is terrible, bitter. The experience is bitter. And when you mix the two answers, you will find one answer that the experience of walking with our God is a bitter, sweet experience. I will give you another example of Job. Go to Job when he is suffering diseases. Go to Job when he has lost his property. Go to Job when he has lost his sons and he has lost everything. And even his wife is telling him, can you just talk bad about this your God and die? And Job is saying, I know my Redeemer lives. Go to him when he is casting the day he was born, and he's saying, may darkness befall the day I was born, and ask him, how is life when you are walking with God? Job will tell you, life is terrible when you are walking with God. Life is bitter. Go to the same Job after God has returned to him double what he lost. He will tell you, brother, walking with Jesus is sweet. Bittersweet, brothers and sisters. Go to Joseph when he is in prison after being accused falsely by Potiphar's wife. Joseph decided that he will not this time round, he will not disappoint his God, and he chose to work in favor of God. He chose to obey and to do what God expects of him. But alas, this God allowed him to go to prison because he did what is right. Ask him, how is it to work for God? And how is it to walk with God? Joseph will tell you it is terrible, it is bitter. Come to the same Joseph when he is at Pharaoh's uh, place later on, being able to interpret the dream of Pharaoh and being made a great person in the house of Pharaoh, and ask him, how is the experience of walking with God? Joseph will tell you that it is very sweet to have God in your life. Bitter sweet. And I will give you the last scenario of Abraham. Ask Abraham, how is it to have God in your life when he's holding the baby Isaac in his arms, when he's looking at a baby son and declaring that indeed God fulfills his promises? Ask Abraham, Abraham, how is it? How is the experience of walking with God? Abraham will tell you that walking with God is the best thing. Walking with God is sweet. Friends, meet the same Abraham as he is going up Mount Moraa with his son Isaac, whereby the same God has asked Abraham to go and sacrifice the son and ask him, how about now? Is it still sweet to work with God? Now, Abraham, I'm sure you will tell you it is bitter at this moment. There are many moments in life, friends, that we have found ourselves in sweet situations and we have praised our God and we have declared that it is sweet to have God in our lives. There are still other moments in life when we have cried and questioned God and said that being a Christian is very difficult, and declared that being a Christian is a matter of suffering, and declared that being a Christian is a matter of patience, and declared that being a Christian is a difficult task. It is bitter. Sometimes it is bitter for us, and sometimes it is sweet for us. In this moment, I want to declare to you and tell you that bittersweet is the norm, but we are in the process of eliminating the bitter so that we can remain with the sweet. Brothers and sisters, I will tell you this minute that that very moment when Satan was there deceiving Adam and telling telling Eve, taste of this fruit and you will know that God lied to you. And Eve took the fruit and tasted the fruit. It was bitter in the eyes of God. It was bitter in heaven. It was even more bitter when Eve took the fruit and gave it to Adam. And Adam did not say no, but he tasted the fruit. It was bitter in heaven. It was bitter when God looked at the special creation he created and saw that the creation had fallen into sin and the creation had fallen into the consequences of sin. It was so bitter in the eyes of God, and it was so bitter in the whole heaven, and heaven mourned because it was indeed bitter. But I have good news for us this evening, dear friends, that it was sweet on the cross when Jesus said, "It is finished." Yes, it was bitter in the Garden of Eden when sin struck, but it was sweet at the cross when the Son of God said, "It is finished." Because what was bitter was finished at the cross, and that is where the word sweet came in. It was bitter before Jesus died on the cross, but because he died, it is now bitter sweet. We can now find a trace of sweetness because he died. It was bitter for God watching us perish. It was bitter for God watching a hopeless and sinful man, but it was sweet when the man was saved on the cross after the death of Jesus. Dear friends, I'll tell you this day that it is sweet to trust the one who brought the sweetness. A moment ago, I've said that it was bitter before Jesus came to the picture. So if you don't come near to the one who brought the sweetness, the situation for you will still remain bitter and bitter forever. So it is better to experience bittersweet than to remain where it is bitter, because in the column of bittersweet, we are in the process of eliminating the bitter. And at the end of the day, we are only going to remain with the sweet, because the bitter is just there for a moment. It was already eliminated at the cross, and we are in the process of completely eliminating it. This evening, I invite you to join this person, or join this brother of yours, join this sister of yours who is trusting in the man who brought the sweetness in the picture of life. The singer said, "It is so sweet to trust in Jesus." Oh, yes, it is so sweet because he is the one, he is the owner of the sweetness. Because before he came, it was bitter. Now it is sweet to trust in him, because if you trust in him, the end will be so sweet for you. The Bible says that, oh, how sweet is the reward for the one who trusts in Jesus. Friends, I invite us this moment that we trust in the one who brought the sweetness, that amidst the bitterness of life, amidst the bitterness of you, saying that there is no hope for tomorrow, that this moment you are very happy you have passed your examinations, you are very happy you are moving to the next step, but when you arrive at the next step, it is bitter because you are jobless. Trust in the one who has the sweetness. Trust in Jesus. That this moment it is very sweet, you are holding a baby in your hands. The next moment it is bitter because the same baby is sick in the hospital. Trust in the one who brought the sweetness. That this moment you are very happy, you are financially stable, but the next moment you are broke and you are crying and life is bitter. Trust in the one who brought the sweetness, because it is sweet to trust in him. In our moments of bitterness, it is sweet to trust in Jesus. In the bitterness of life, it is sweet to trust in Jesus. And at the end of the day, bitter will be eliminated and sweet is the reward that will remain, the reward of eternal life. That is